Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Last time, oh my god, a lot of stuff went down. We finished the investigation. We found out that Dahlia Hawthorne was executed, and Morgan was going to use that to have Pearl channel her and kill off the Fae main branch. Intense stuff, yo. Also, I need to get used to this new little, seating arrangement I have. But, yeah, I got a new seating arrangement just for doing stuff on my computer. God, I need a microphone stand. But alright, we don't care about that. Let's go. February 10th, my dad's birthday, 9:39 a.m. Woo! Good morning! Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearls. Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's going to happen to Mystic Maya? I'm sorry. We don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed into the inner temple. Oh, I see. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks in the training hall? No, she's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court. Then how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit, it's kind of strange. If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Oh, you. I thought that was, Godot. Edgeworth? What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, a witness? Wait, what? The prosecutor is squeezing her for a confession, or so I heard. Franziska von Karma, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Franziska isn't going to be the prosecutor today. What? Then who is? Who else would it be but Godot? Godot? Franziska is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. And also, why is Phoenix surprised? They already said... Godot already said he was going to take over the case, and Franny got mad about that, but okay. The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She's been out there all night, trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You are not the same fever-ridden frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here I decided that today would be the end of all this. Okay. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold onto someone else. Literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner. Thanks. Wait, so we really are going to finish it today? I mean, not today. I mean, granted, this is probably going to be like a 2, if not 3-parter trial, but what, it's not going to go to a 3rd day? I still don't have the answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. Yeah, because the whole flight thing, we have to figure that out too. Alright, the circumstances around the murder of Miss Elise Miss Misty Faye. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. And what that woman is really after. Oh my god, is she going to be a witness? I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. 10 o'clock. No! I want Canadian judge because he's actually competent. Oh. Disappointed. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Your Honor? What are you... Who? Me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. He caught that Rona. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. Also, does that mean I should have been giving this judge a Canadian voice the whole time? Oh well, we're in too deep. My poor brother. He looked a bit pale. Not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. Are we gonna have to go over everything from the start for Judgy? It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There is only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So then you mean... forget it, what do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she's had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Iris! Why didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. God, I've been doing Canadian judge for so long, part of me still kind of wants to just... Alright. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. I will write that down. Okay, just taking a little note here. Alright, got it. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training in the Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something that you want to confess to? Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Dunham? No, I'm not, Your Honor. Oh, Godot. Oh, no. Oh, is he about to do what They're going to say it was Pearl. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard where I desecrated it. What? Order in the court. Order. Witness, are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. What? 3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. Ha. Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case it's to murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? Yeah, that Godot. So this is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie. Iris's testimony crumpled up and shoved into a pocket. Now then, little lady, If you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris was covering for someone. Now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle or a life jacket. I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Karain tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. I'm sorry, but main family? Yes, that's why I would dirty myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of the Karain channeling technique. Mystic Maya Fey. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite. She's naming Maya? Where I thought this was going, but the motive makes no sense unless it's like, oh wait, Misty's back. We can't have that. Order in the court. So not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer. I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. That's ridiculous. Maya could never do such a... The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honor. I thought I was prepared for the unexpected. I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction. Godot, he's cutthroat. Makes me sad he only showed up in this game. He would have cleaned up in the previous ones. Just imagine him during the Gant trial. Oh, that would have been even more perfect. Because they were already like sort of fed up with, like Gant was already fed up with Edgeworth. It's like, oh, don't worry, Edgeworth, you'll be replaced for the for this trial. Conflict of interest, since, you know, this prosecutor or the DA or whatever she was, head prosecutor, whatever, like, oh, she gave you your start and was your mentor. Can't have these conflict of interests here, but here's my good friend Godot to run the trial. That would have been perfect, but that trial was also created specifically for the DS version after, like, these games had already been made, so... it is what it is. It is what it is. The real murderer. I went to the Inner Temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. So it wasn't self-defense? Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya. Just moving the desk a little. Okay. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You got the instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. Sure, it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the Inner Temple that night. And that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. The real murderer. Let's just press on everything just to be sure. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder, you didn't go to the Inner Temple. Objection. Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go? I was in the Inner Temple's training hall. A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony. That would be properly described as hearsay. What do you have to say, witness? I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya, she's your girlfriend, isn't she? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder. There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden? Well, Your Honor, that's a lie and deceit right there. They're not dating? No? You're saying that the victim attacked Miss Faye. Yes, it was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was going to collapse. What were you doing at the time? Why didn't you stop them from fighting? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock. That's perfectly understandable, my dear. This doesn't sound right. I believe this testimony for a minute. What happened after that? Why? Stumbling, she moved in to deliver a fatal strike. She moved in to deliver a fatal strike? Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of dagger. A dagger, huh? And Elisa Denham tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly. Ha! You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce. That is always a tough word for me to freaking pronounce. Worcestershire. What? Worcestershire. God damn it. I usually just slur it, and it sounds correct. Worcestershire sauce. Whatever. It's good on meat, but yeah, don't drink that straight out the bottle. It's not a good experience. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? Do you have a problem with Iris's testimony? This isn't in the court record yet, is it? No. Not right now. Iris is my client. I better not press her too hard. The defense has no objection to Miss Iris's testimony. Ha! You should try some nice sweet cafe con leche at least once, trite. Very well, let's continue with your testimony. What happened to Miss Faye when she was attacked by the victim? I'll have to remember to go back to that. And then Mystic Maya, she turned things around, and then she used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike. Well, witness, are you absolutely certain? Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something... Maya Faye's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see. This is bad. Still can't put the pieces together. Unless I find a contradiction in her testimony, Maya's going to get blamed for this. But then in this case, it would be self-defense. She would more than likely get off, while Iris would be just trying to do the cover-up. Iris would be the one. Well, I guess he's just trying to avoid Iris getting prison time in general, but I don't know. I only have this to say. Only in self-defense, you can't blame her for it. So you're saying Maya Faye was the one who stabbed Miss Elise Denham? Sister Iris, is that really what you saw? Yes. Tisk, 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 Trite. If your mug is filled with black and bitter suspicions, the only way to get rid of them is to drink them down quick. Like this! I know that's supposed to be a metaphor, but I don't get it. There's only one thing you need to get, Trite. It's called evidence. Now hurry up, before my next cup gets cold. What does that mean? Is Godot waiting for me to point out the contradictions? I'd like to avoid the whole spirit channeling thing if I can. Not only would it be inadmissible as evidence, but I think it might actually hurt our standing with the judge. First, I need to pick her testimony apart and expose the unnatural sounding parts. I don't know why Iris would tell a story like this, but there are two things I noticed that just don't add up. Like, one thing in particular is like, well, A, where the victim was stabbed. Wait, was she stabbed from the front or the back? Yeah, stabbed from the back. That's not self-defense then. If someone's stabbed in the back. But also, where is the murder weapon then? Or what was the murder weapon? Is this? I think this was the one where I had to press, or where they gave me the option to press. Okay. There is one thing. Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony. You do? But this witness is your own client. Yes, well, nevertheless. That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony. Yes, sir. Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Gramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay now, let's continue. She threw her staff away and pulled a dagger from inside her robe. A dagger is going to go all the way through her body like that, though? She threw her staff away? Mystic Elise was trying to kill Mystic Maya. I think that's why she wanted a more lethal weapon. It's true. It's not easy to inflict a deadly blow with a staff. Sister Iris, let me make sure I've got this straight. The victim herself chose to throw away her staff. Yes, that's what I saw. Is there anything odd about that, Mr. Wright? Yeah, it's odd, all right. Mystic Elise attacked Mystic Maya with the dagger. I'm sure of this. But why use a dagger when you have a perfectly good staff sword? Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss Denham throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with a staff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise Dunham really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say? He's still smiling. That was an impressive bit of investigating, Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade. Well... Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony. But there is something strange about this whole testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point. Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back its argument. Mr. Wright, I have here another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. Because Miss Elise Dunham would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Because that's her frickin' daughter. Yeah, that's gonna have to be what I present there. Alright then. Sorry, it is currently 1:27 a.m. I meant to start recording almost 90 minutes ago. I kind of waited a little too long. Anyway. Elise Dunham would never have attacked Maya Fey. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise Dunham. Her real name was Misty Fey. Fey? No, not Misty Fey. Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to... Misty Fey is the master of the Karain channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey. Are you serious? Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elise Dunham actually the great mystic Misty? There's no doubt about it. Looks like Iris had no idea. I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her only daughter, one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing. Got him. Did he even know that? Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, one, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and two, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter. Despite the facts being believable when taken on their own, when taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Listen, there's nothing in this world that is impossible. Except for one little thing. Yes? What is this one little impossible thing? Ha! Still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. Could you get to your point? I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee. It's a little too much coffee. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty. Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else? Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? Huh? The pine tree? This dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree when the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women. This little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means the blood on the dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Ha! Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee. Didn't you say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order that a blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, Get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. Dagger added to the court record. Now then, testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Cute girls never lie. Ever. Bullshit. In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court. About what, Your Honor? About the incident you saw. The battle between the two women. Yes, Your Honor. The battle. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. That was a very heartbreaking story. I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. It seems reasonable. Thought that was going to end with a question mark, not an ellipsis. That's why it sounded so weird. Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Okay. I'm going to get right to the point on this one. Because her back to the stone lantern, but autopsy report says that there was a stab in her back. You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? Yes. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger. I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal analogies have grown tiresome. You were the one who started it. Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next? I'm just pressing on these two because I want to make sure I present on the right one. Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw? Yes, I'm almost certain. Almost? The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who. What'd she just say? So, in other words, it could have been someone else entirely. Objection. We know that Maya Fey was at the Inner Temple that night. And that the woman that was killed was Elise Dunham. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who? Nah. I don't have anything to counter that yet. Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Two of them face each other for a moment. Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground. So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh? Yes. Either one. This can fit on either one. This can fit on either one. Oh, man. But they brought up the stomach thing right there, so... There we go. Alright, cool. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern. Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? It's simple. We kill the Batman. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away a useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 353 distinct types of bitterness in this coffee. But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself. The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light? By the way, did you know? Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit. I didn't wonder what that stone lantern was there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's it. Most enlightening. Yeah, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite? What does this have to do with anything? Order! 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 Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it'll rekindle the flame of trust in your mind. Stone lantern added to the court record. A lantern from the inner temple garden was not lit the night of the crime. Why is the judge just sitting there with that look on his face? What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern, there's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood. Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood? How does Godot not know? It says Maya upside down. What the? Oh yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with that blood that was draining out of her body. Don't know about that one, Chief. Certainly looks that way. Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Could it be? He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. Oh, I thought that was just like him trying to be deep. So that's what he meant by that. Wait, so it's blending in for him, or what? Like he has virtual boy vision? In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot? Okay then. Let's move on. He's a little on edge right now. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow, I don't think it's from caffeine overdose. So we threw him off his game? Alright. I believe it has now been established that Miss Dunham was killed by Maya Fey. That's just wrong. Now it's time to turn our attention to you. Yes, sir. After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. Okay, bloody cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Karain technique. So I remembered the body from the inner temple by myself. Or removed the body, rather. Did I say that? I don't know. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. And I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and I used a Skizushido to alter the way the wound looked. So you moved the body? Yes. I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fey clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Dunham was actually Mr. Fey. I've committed a terrible sin. Terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor. I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body. But you were spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. I'll be honest, I have nothing for this one. Candy break over. Okay, let's go. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. Thought it was my duty to protect the future master. Removed the body from the inner temple. Dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple. And used the Skizushido to alter the way the wound looked. Might as well press on everything then. So you waited until everything was over before making a move. No, it's not like that. She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument? It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done. So then, you knew the significance of the name Maya Fey. Yes, of course I did. That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. Why do you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene. You moved her body all by yourself? Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow. Snow, huh? But... oh no, the weather report said it was snowing. Wait. Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. The approximate time is between 10 and 11. Okay, so yeah, she could have brought it back before the bridge. Okay. It's pretty amazing you can make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. There's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into the Eagle River? Would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. I thought that it would still cast much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible. Makes perfect sense to me. Not to me, I mean, isn't the thing with the river like, oh, bodies never get found again, even though we were able to find phoenixes, but details for the time being. Anyway, what'd you do after you crossed the bridge? Use the snowmobile. I'm gonna press on that. The snowmobile, I knew that would show up sooner or later. Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? Ask about the tracks. She really did move her body by snowmobile. And there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple. I see. Snow was still falling, huh? And then when the murder took place, it already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks. Okay, the murder took place, it had already stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? I skipped. The murder took place, the snow had already stopped. Oh good, I picked the right one. It doesn't make sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony. But does it have something to do with this case? All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. This should be fun. Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. Okay, so if the snow had already stopped, then that means the murder could have taken place anywhere from 10:50 to 11. But Iris said that she dragged the body back across the bridge. And as you can see, the bridge was on fire at 10:45. We got her. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? No! No! Yeah! That is... No, I'm mad about that one. There have been a lot of contradictions in your testimony so far. This time, are you sure it's all true? Yes, I am. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobile tracks were so clear. That's right. I'm certain of it. I think I've trapped her this time. Let's see how you think. Snow, huh? Well, what is going on here? The snow really had stopped by the time of the murder. It means there's a bigger hole in her story than that movie The Grid Revelations. What? Ha. Well then, Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to share your theory with us? Let's see what's up your sleeve. Or rather, at the end of your index finger. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of. This has to be it, but they didn't take the weather report, so now I don't know what to put here. Only other thing I can think of is to present the autopsy here. That can't be right. Nope. What am I getting wrong? Okay. Wait. Is this new? I mean, it's a new day. Yeah, I was kind of dozing off in the middle of recording it before I just had to stop. So I was just going back through the pressings just to make sure like I'm up to speed on everything, and I don't recall this happening, but now I've got a problem with your testimony. Excuse me? Godot, what are you up to now? That night, after the head nun left the remainder of the training to you, she says she walked from the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on the subject. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say? Order, Mr. Godot. Well, why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony? Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay? Well, maybe. Sister Bikini missed it. Yes, Maybe she didn't see it. You think she missed it? It doesn't sound right. Ha, whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. It's just, you'd better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that. Yes, sir. What was that all about? Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So you transported the body by snowmobile all the way to the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Yes, I thought that way Mr. Maya would never be suspected. That's what I thought anyway. And then I... Wait, they really were giving me a hint? Okay, what am I missing here? Oh my god, I'm dumb. I've been at this for about 40 minutes now, just rereading everything, thinking like I've been just putting too much thought into this because I figured it would be something here because every time you press here, like Godot's like, oh, so the snow, that's going to be your biggest thing. Yeah, this makes sense because she said she dragged the body all the way across Dusky Bridge and that the murder took place once the snow had stopped. It didn't stop snowing until 10:50. Dusky Bridge was on fire at 10:45. She couldn't have dragged the body across then. Okay, I thought the music was still playing. I was about to be upset. You claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time. Well, why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and it caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge? It was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? How did she not know about it? It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't. It can't be. It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. No. Order, order, order. The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right. The inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? He's smiling. The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of Elise Dunham was discovered in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. And second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Dunham's body. He makes a good point, on both accounts. That's right. I'm not lying. What are you claiming this time? I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy. You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy? It is only human to err. If you're so perfect, Wright, maybe you can explain this for the court? What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick? Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way she got across that burnt-out bridge. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. Oh my god, did they catapult the body? It looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation. See what I mean? In other words, you're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. Alright then, witness. Let's hear your testimony once more. About what, Your Honor? You've admitted that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Will this be her final testimony? Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge? So it was just a misunderstanding. I see. This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. It certainly was burned to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder. Trite. I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Alright, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. I don't know. Press on everything, then. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place. I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. You seem to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped. I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong. Wow, she playing it safe. Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? This is no joke. You're giving sworn testimony in a court of law. Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today? Huh? Well, naturally it was, You see, it's not that easy to remember, is it? In my case, it was slightly chilly, but the sun was out. I can say that because it was freaking snowing today. In the middle of April. What is this sick, twisted joke? But if it had been some kind of a special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation. No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite. What? By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed a bridge while it was on fire. Yeah, we got some for that. We got some for that. Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way to across. Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge. Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Ha! If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. I've come all this way, so I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? Even if I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. I'll start by examining all of my evidence and see where that takes me. I've got to be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, I'm as good as dead. All or nothing. Oh my god, the sketch is upside down. Cause those... No, wait, were the suspension wires underneath or on top? No, yeah, no, the suspension wires were underneath. Because the peg at the other end of the bridge was like level with the... Yeah, okay. Another way to cross a burning bridge. All or nothing. Please don't let me take damage on this. Thank you. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What? Ha! You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous. Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go, go. Miss Elise Dunham's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Laurice Dunham. Brilliant? Highly gifted? Apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony. The night he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall, and that's when he witnessed the event. It's upside down. He literally drew it like this. Oh my god. They didn't transport it over the bridge, they transported it under the bridge. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Ha! Well, Trite, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything? Yes. I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Why is he helping? Why is he helping? Why is he helping? Upside down. Why did Godot say that? Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? He just flat out told what I'm thinking. Like, are we just playing into one of his traps again? Like with his first trial? Or it's just like, oh, well then I guess I was wrong. I guess, there's no way that Ron Delight was Mask Damask that was stealing the sacred urn. Oh, well, looks like you got me. Oh, by the way, he committed murder. Thank you for proving my point that he has no alibi for the murder of this CEO. Got him. So this must be like one big trap of Godot's. I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix. Look carefully and think it over. The sketch drawn by Larissa Dunham is... exactly what happened. Of course, the victim was flying through the air. You can see it right there in the sketch. Whoosh. No! It's not a contradiction. You're starting to remind me of yesterday's witness. What? That was the last thing I wanted to hear. He wasn't here yesterday. Do you have any evidence that the victim flew through the air? That's not where I thought we were going with this. Just so you know, we haven't discovered a giant human catapult at the Inner Temple yet. I wish they had. Even if you're a lousy lawyer, at least you're 1 cup's worth of entertainment. I think we should skip the penalty this time. Wow. There must be some way. I just know it. There must be a way to use Larry's sketch to show the truth of what happened. Turn it upside down. Turn her testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Oh. They're being very lenient, and I don't understand why. But no, we're going with this. So I just need to get back to that point. Oh, wait, that was new dialogue too. I sort of glossed over it, but it looked like it says something like, oh, we're going back to this again? All right, fine. Or something of that ilk. I guess I should go with contradiction. Because it is evidence. Yeah, exactly what happened is... Because the way I thought we were going to go with that was like, but if we flip it upside down, but as it is a contradiction. Something's obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Reese Dunham stated it over and over. That this sketch was exactly as he saw it. Yep, he was laying down. It was upside down for him. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? He's still smiling. This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? This flying figure, naturally. After all, people haven't learned to fly yet. Or did I miss something? Mr. Wright, that answer just now, it was lethal. What? No, I should not have... Oh my god. Alright, fine. Suits women, not the elderly. Okay, fine, point to something else. Okay. Yeah, they keep saying upside down, flip things around. Oh my god. They are drilling it into your brain. Okay then, it's these cables. The suspension cables. It's this wire connected to the bridge. The wire? Ha! Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality. Let me make sure of this. Yeah, because you can even see the posts here that the suspension wires are connected to. But I just want to make certain. Yeah, they're all underneath. Go for broke! That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes. Now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. Oh. I guess that's why they don't penalize you for saying, like, this was exactly, like, what he saw was exactly correct. Because that is, like, a correct thought process, and it's technically not wrong, but it's not where they wanted to guide you. So that's why Godot is like, let's just skip the penalty. Fair enough. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jumping Jehoshaphat, the wires are below the guard wires. What? Is Godot putting on an act? Order, order, order. This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong? Or perhaps he just drew it wrong. Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. With someone like Laurice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. But then that begs the question. Why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Laurice was doing when he witnessed this event? He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. Dang, harsh reality. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Laurice must have been in at that time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He was lying on his back? I can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. Ah! Ugh, no way. You let... Even if I didn't, like, consider this possibility at first, you led him to this conclusion. Laurice Dunham witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, this sketch should actually... I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Laurice Dunham's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. That would explain why the hair looks like that too, gravity pulling it down. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That would explain why there wasn't... Why there wasn't a thing... A rope from that one post at the other end of the bridge. That's right, just like a pendulum. Ridiculous. Order! 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 Of all the things to say, a pendulum? Because, look at the map. Look at the post in the lower right. No rope. No rope. And again, that could have been before this, but whatever. The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you'd need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. The lightning strike that night can only have been an accident, so it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum? Alright, let's think this through. None of these will matter. No, the hood isn't 10 yards. Wouldn't have anything to do with the snowmobile. They still don't flip that for me, but alright, fair enough. How much rope is that, though? But we also have rope hanging from here, too. Oh, this could be either or. Oh, this could be either or. I genuinely want to do a safety save. Oh my god. But it would explain why this stayed over... Oh, no, why this stayed over at the inner temple, while this was over at the other side of Dusky Bridge. This was the only thing... God, no. This was the only thing that was still at the temple. Screw it. What do you think, Mr. Good? Ah, fuck off. Tried his lucky there's no rope around here, huh? Even if it's just a sliver of rope, be wrapping it nice and tight around his neck. Wow, brutal. Great! I'm only gonna have, like, 1 hit point for next time. I just figured using the suspension bridge again would be too easy, but I guess not. And the meaning of this is, if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Ugh! This is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Elise Denham's body. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Ha. Okay, just chug that coffee. Mr. Godot! It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. Seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high. Should have went with my first gut, because then I was going to go straight for the bridge, but then I looked at the talisman and I'm like, wait a minute. That has rope too. Then I overcomplicated things. So I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. Possible or impossible, That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Trite, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? God, they are throwing everything at me right now. I don't have definitive proof, except for the fact that this was found at an outcropping near Dusky Bridge. Go for broke! Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. So then, what was the spot where the... Oh, that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now let's consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. The body was pushed from this point here. It would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance. What kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. 10 feet, huh? Oh, I thought they were going to say, like, she fell out of her window or something. Because, I don't know, that ladder in the little courtyard, that always seemed weird to me, but I guess this too. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. Body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. That's... Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Elise Denham's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed, I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found... Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright! I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. Well, what is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing. Oh? And what would that be? The aroma. Huh? The coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. There was an accomplice. He's dropping hints. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. I guess I do. That's how I'm able to see through Godot's words here. Can you elaborate a bit more? If the criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite? Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Oh my god. He was leading us into a trap. He was leading us into a trap. Oh my god. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side? Because now he's trying to switch it up. Now he's trying to say that she was the accomplice while Maya was the culprit because she's the only one on the other side. But then we didn't know that Pearl was there. Oh my god. Cutthroat. Can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it. Trite, were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Goodell? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two different places at the same time. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using the sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? That's what I said. I said what? How can you say that, Mr. Wright? What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple? Are you serious, Trite? You mean this woman is... There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is... Oh my god. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister, and you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case. 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine. No, the honor is all mine. Well, but according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Huh? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order. Wait a moment. How can you My sister, she's already dead. What kind of... You of all people should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of the Karain channeling technique flows within that body. The Karain channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder, to a temple where her twin sister Iris was. Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes.
Objection.
We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens. Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions. What's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them. Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Oh my god. She took off the hood because it would have protected her from... Oh my god. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the Inner Temple was someone who dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne.
Objection.
Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans to talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the Inner Temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right, not to mention, and I know they're going to bring it up, doesn't seem to have any spiritual power. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. Can't deny any of that. Phew, thank goodness. Looks like he's finally convinced. But something still seems off. Way off. Still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Ha. Suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous? Like, the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places? Switched places? Come again? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know. And unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia. What's up with, like, the final trial of... Well, well, okay, technically penultimate trial for Danganronpa, but like of a trilogy of games where it's like it's just built around getting somebody's identity down. Because now I think we're about to get into like, how can we tell who was Iris, who was Dahlia. Just like in Danganronpa, who was, major spoilers for the final trial, skip ahead about 20 seconds if you don't want to get spoiled now. But yeah, when it was like, who was, like, was it really Kokichi or was it really Kaito? Who was the victim? Who was the culprit? But yeah, it's kind of like that. So it's interesting. Anyway, Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia. Which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? There was one. When Edgeworth lost sight of her. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh? Explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was... it might be quicker to go this way. Ooh, he gonna be in trouble. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? An earthquake? Oh my goodness, the inner temple. This kind of tremor might... How could I have? She fled. She escaped. We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. How do you stage an execution, though? Okay, that's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and... Be quiet. What? What? Okay. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice. Guess I have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne. In my current profession, permanently retired. Ha. So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. New sprite? Uh-oh. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. What is going on here? Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her and for myself. Oh wow, we're not even going to recess? Okay, well, this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. Because we still have to get, like, Maya out of, like, wherever that thing is. there's still some stuff going on with Pearl, unless she's channeling someone right now. Yeah. Oh my god. I've no clue what's going on with this. This is going to be interesting. But yeah. Next time we continue on with the trial and let's play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.